Okay, we got to go to somebody who's like accomplished something here because I'm getting sick of you. All right, let's go to MC Lars. Oh my God. Hey Lars, how's it going?
Hello.
Hey, quick question. Would you ever drive a VCR 900 miles over the Canadian border? Because one of the co-hosts just did that, and I'm freaking out over it.
Because he didn't have a VCR?
No, I'm just saying, like, he drove it to a bunch of friends in Canada, and no one in Canada could have found a VCR at a thrift store.
It must have been a special VCR.
It was not. Okay, anyway.
You don't know that.
So, MC Lars, the man, the myth, the legend. What title do you prefer to go by? Because Wikipedia sometimes gets me in trouble with guests. So what title do you like to go by?
Oh, I say musician when I meet people.
Musician. Okay, that makes sense. I mean, you're doing music. So, all right. So
how about you? Podcaster? What do you go by?
Well, no, this is my side thing. I go by filmmaker, comedian. That's my thing.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, no. Trust me, you're a lot more impressive than me. Don't worry. So let's see. Your era fascinates me because you started pre-social media. That is, that's unbelievable. Just thinking about, because it was hard enough for me to build an audience with social media, and I'm trying to think without it. And you took this internet stuff, and it became just this sort of, music labels and all that. And my big question is, did you have connections before you started online, or before the audience started building online, or did you build the audience and then record labels started knocking? Like, how did it work?
Well, when I was a sophomore in college, I did part of my overseas program in England, and I was playing with bands in the UK. So I kind of had a small petri dish from which to launch my connections. So I guess you could say that I'd met people in the punk industry, music scene in England in the early 2000s, pre-social media. So, but it was just meeting people at shows and stuff, real life.
Okay, so you were doing it sort of the more traditional way. It wasn't so much the Soulja Boy career path where you were just trying to get a viral song.
Right, but then that's true, but then I was very much into giving away my stuff and pro torrenting and sharing my MP3s and stuff when artists were trying to make sure they got paid for their stuff. And I was like, well, if I tour and people come see me, I can monetize it that way. And I guess in 2005, that was kind of different. But now I feel like that's the model everyone does.
So that different thing, my idea of what it was like to build an audience pre-social media is there's less viewers, but there's also less competition. Would you say that's pretty accurate, or would you say it was how is it different to build an audience now versus back then when it comes to the internet?
I think back then it was a lot of you had to have a really great, you had to be a great engaging performer before YouTube and everything, and have a show that felt special, and then somehow translate that to YouTube views and downloads. And I think that it was less competition. So it was easier maybe to go quote unquote viral, which I don't know if I ever necessarily did, but it was easier to get people to watch your YouTube stuff because it was more expensive to make content, right? And so it was different. And I also think the algorithms, I don't know, I think there wasn't such a proprietary control by labels and big media companies to make sure people's attention is diverted to things that are already trending. You know what I mean? Do you feel me? It's I feel like things could be more organic.
What I've noticed is you have to I'm just going to say for YouTube, for example, you have to make something that's based on some other major label or major corporation's intellectual property for it to get any hits at all. Would you say that's true now?
I would. And you have to do a lot of it. So it becomes it recommends a whole series. So that's just different. Back in the day, you could have one video and it would, drive people to your others. But now, unless you have a bunch that are profoundly similar, that's harder to do.
So I want to run this by, a guy who was originally there for, when, again, before the social media boom. And a couple of years ago, or I guess they're still talking about it, the death of net neutrality. And one of the things people worried about is, oh, well, only 5 websites are going to work, and all the other websites, they're not going to work anymore, and they won't have as fast of connections and all this stuff. And I'm hearing this, and I'm like, well, net neutrality died 10 years ago, because there was a time where you could have an mclars.com. There was a time where you could have all these various .coms. But now if it's not on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, nobody clicks on it. How do you feel about that?
That's interesting. Yeah, most of my traffic isn't directly to my domain. But it's because these big corporations stole away our attention. And I think it's just because their platform is so engaging and There's so much great content on them. So yeah, you remember like E-Bombs World? I don't know if you remember that site.
Yeah,
But it had like weird videos, but it was just a cool domain.
Well, no, yeah, that's my thing. It's like they didn't need legislation to kill net neutrality. They did it through, their own little algorithms and business. So it's like when someone says, "Oh, net neutrality is going to end," I'm like, "So what? It already ended." That's my thing.
Right. I think that's a great point.
So I discovered you. Oh God, how long ago? Oh Jesus. Maybe like 13 years ago now. Maybe 14 years ago. I don't know. But I remember I saw, because I was, oh my God, I must have been, oh God, I was like 12. I have no idea. But essentially, so I'm watching like Naruto Flash animations on Newgrounds, and one of the Flash animations is using your song iGeneration. And so I see that, I'm like, oh, that's a good song. So I look that up, and I find that, I burn it to a CD. And so that was like the first MC Lars experience. And then you go on YouTube and you see the other songs and stuff like that. And I thought, like I didn't know anything as a kid, but I thought you were just a guy who exclusively got on through the internet as opposed to like the standard label thing. And so when you had Jarrett Reddick download the song, when I saw that, I thought it was insane that, a guy that I thought just came from the internet was able to get a guy who was, top of the chart, 1985, Bowling for Soup, all that. And so, like, how did that connection start? How did you get Jarrett Reddick on board for something? Was it labels helping you out, or did you personally reach out? How did it happen?
Their A&R guy was friends with my first manager because they'd worked at Roadrunner Records, a metal label. So my first manager, Tom, gave Howie the laptop EP, like demos for the laptop EP. So Howie gave that to Jarrett, and then they brought me on my first tour. So like winter of 2005, I took senior year off from college and opened for them. So we became like good friends because I was on their bus with them, and they really like, they hooked me up for sure. But that was just like friend of a friend. And yeah, that was a really cool thing to have like a well-known artist sing on a track. And
right.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool that you found me through the Naruto animation.
Keep pronouncing it like Naruto too, because that gets the anime fans mad, and I love getting them angry. All right.
How do you say? Was it Naruto?
I'm gonna tell you it's that, just so more anime fans get mad. That's
a world I don't know about. That's like an anime style or something.
It's anime. Yeah. No, and that's the other interesting thing is like you're not like a stranger to the internet, but like you were on like the old internet. Nowadays with the new internet, you need to know like half of all the animes that were on Cartoon Network if you want to see In the Loop, like all this stuff. The culture is completely different, and it's also the culture of like now someone can get lost into something more than they ever could, where they can make Naruto, or they can make One Punch Man, or whatever the new anime is. They can make that their entire life and their entire identity, and it's crazy how social media changed that as well.
It's different, right? Because like it's allowed us to completely go into fantasy. As democracy dies and the world is on fire, we put on our Ready Player One headsets and get nostalgic and watch cartoons.
Yeah, definitely.
It's great.
No, yeah, people get on my case for like saying stuff like that. They get mad at me when I say like, hey, maybe adults should stop watching movies that have Rocket the Raccoon as like the main character or whatever. And people get real mad at me when I say shit like that. But it's, what's it called? I mean, I'm sort of joking anyway. The interesting thing about talking to guys like you who have been in music for so long is you have the craziest connections, like again, like Jarrett Reddick. Let me ask you this, like, who's the most famous guy you could call right now?
Probably Weird Al.
That's pretty good. Okay, yeah, he's a piece of the culture. All right, that's cool.
So Download This Song, when that came out, he'd written a song called Don't Download This Song that was on his upcoming Straight Outta Linwood album.
Right.
And so he sent me a message because he'd heard of, I gave him a shout out on some MTV News thing that he saw. So he just hit me up. He was like, hey, I just want to let you know I have a song called Don't Download This Song, and I wasn't stealing the idea from you. I just want to let you know that the songs are different. And also he said, like, I like your music and just want to say hi. So that was great. That was really classy of him. He just hit me up because, yeah.
Was Weird Al a dude that you liked coming up, or was he just a guy you sort of respected but didn't really like get into?
No, I would say I owe him my wanting to get into music.
Okay.
It's like a lot of young people. Yeah, he just, back in the 90s, it was such a history, like an inroad into understanding the history of popular music, his whole catalog,
Yeah. There's one song that I stumbled upon. It was another guy that I saw on Newgrounds, Akira the Don. and he had a song called "Live in the Future 2.5 Remix." And so I had known of you, and I probably rediscovered this song maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And I see it, and now he's doing a group thing with all these guys. And I see you, and I see Eddie Argos, and I see Big Narsty. And that's insane for me, because I'm like, what are all these, these music connect? Like, it's amazing how this spiderweb is formed. Do you know, are those all just people he knows, or do you all know each other in like a group sort of thing?
I don't know. I don't know them personally. That's Akira I met because my first ever interview I did in 2003 in England. He was the first guy to ever play my music, and so he asked me to do the remix, and he actually opened for me in 2011. But I don't know those other guys. Eddie Argos is in that. What's the band? Art Brut or something? They're like famous, right?
Yeah.
They're like,
the one I know most about, it was insane because, I'm seeing these guys that I watched in the past, like you and Akira the Don, and then I see Big Narsty, and that blows my mind because he's a guy, because he did the song with Craig David. He did When the Bassline Drops, which was a huge, UK, not so big over here, but in the UK it was pretty big. And it's just, you see, it's like the past, present, and future all in one video. So that was sort of a fascinating, that was a big boom.
That's great.
Yeah, no, it's just crazy how the spiderweb forms. And again, it was all pre-social media. It was all like when you couldn't believe that, somebody would be connected with. It was before there, like everything was a follow for a follow. It was, oh my
right.
God. Oh my God. There's, let's see, would you consider yourself more alternative hip hop or nerdcore, or what is your preferred genre, or do you just want to be called hip hop? Like, what's your big thing?
That's a good question. I mean, I think the nerdcore hip hop thing at this point, like people who understand what that is or Google it kind of, it explains the genre well. I think that I don't want that to become a gimmick. I feel like that has a potential of being a gimmicky thing. Yeah. So yeah, I describe it as kind of like indie hip hop, and but there's a lot of dope nerdcore artists, and so when people label me as that, it's fine. Like I own nerdcoretour.com. That's like a domain I use to promote my tours. So right. I'm not against it, but yeah.
But the other phrase is backpack rap. Right,
and which I think there's a lot of great artists in that genre.
So let me see this. Oh man, there's a lot of history here. So one thing I saw is that you opened for a lot of artists, like, and some of the names were like T-Pain. Another name was Young Jock, one of them.
That's right. Yep.
So not only are you opening for punk bands, but you're opening for also the core hip hop artists. And so you're coming on as mostly a rapper when you're opening for them. And my question is, there's a bit of gatekeeping when it comes to core hip hop. And my question is, when you interact with these artists, do you ever feel that there's a need to prove yourself? Do you ever feel that it's an awkward tenseness in the room because it's a white guy who sort of does the more funnier sort of rap? Do you ever get nervous in those scenarios? Do you ever feel like there's a sense that you have to prove yourself to certain artists?
Well, Young Jock was really cool, and like we talked a lot about the history of hip hop, and that was on a tour we did, a college tour in 2008, which was, to make things crazier, it was also with a band called Cartel that was on it.
Yeah,
so
I remember
very,
Cartel. Yeah.
Eclectic kind of tour. T-Pain, I didn't get to meet. Some of the shows where I open for bigger artists are college shows, and often there's a lot of security, and we don't really get to meet them. We got to meet Snoop Dogg when we opened for him, and he was very nice and cordial. But I think like my attitude has always been, if you worry about being accepted and you feel like you need the gatekeepers to embrace you, that's like you're inherently devaluing yourself. I mean, if I can produce music that I like, that's from the heart, that's different, that's enough. I think there's a lot of problem with rappers, especially white rappers, who try to feel like they have to act a certain way or get certain people to co-sign them because, I mean, I've never wanted to be like a mainstream artist, and I don't think what I do what is appealing to that world. But when I can like have a real conversation with someone from that world, it's gratifying, and I appreciate it. So yeah.
Well, with hip hop, and like they'll talk about this on Vlad TV all the time, the concept of like a culture vulture or something like that, where it's like you worry, or some artists worry, not you, but some artists will worry, like, if I'm getting into this hip hop thing and I'm a white guy or I'm an Asian guy or whatever, like I got to make sure that I don't sort of, I guess, make a joke out of it. because then that might be insulting to the originators or something like that. Like, have you ever had a conversation like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very profound, important question. Like the line between parody and
Mocking.
like mocking, right? It's a difficult line to do. I mean, I have a song that I did in 2006 that kind of made fun of crunk for being materialistic.
Yeah.
But nowadays, I don't really perform that, first of all, because it's kind of like an antiquated pop culture reference. But also, you know, I'm not in a place to like make fun of materialistic Southern mainstream hip hop music, because that's not my culture. It's just different. And there's a lot of good and bad and everything. So there are things I can't say and things I don't do. And like, you know, it's like the joke of, hey, I'm rapping, but I shouldn't be. That's hilarious. I feel like that is kind of it's an easy joke. So yeah, man, I try to be respectful and I try to really understand about the history, and I try to keep my ear open to what's new, and I try to like make sure I'm not whack. But
MC Lars, the conscious nerdcore rapper.
There you go. Thank you.
The conscious one. There we go. Because there's an evolution we see here. In 2006, you're okay with it, but in 2019, you're not. So that shows an evolution.
Yeah, I wouldn't make fun of, like, it would be very easy to do a SoundCloud parody mumble rap song where I Sharpie my face up with fake tattoos and make fun of those guys. But, you know, that would probably get a reaction, but it seems like not very respectful.
Turn you into Hobson, right? If you know. Well, that's Hobson's big thing right now, is making fun of those guys.
Yeah, you never want to be hating on what's new and young, because then you look like an old, out-of-touch person.
That's interesting, because we're going to go to a little quiz at the end of this. I think you're going to like it. It's going to be new rapper opinion scoring, but we'll say that for the end of the show. Let me ask this. I won't ask a figure, but what I'm curious about, just given that you've been in it for like 15 years, financially, what was your best year in music?
That's a great question. Probably 2015. Every year, whenever I did
2015.
Yeah.
Wow.
Those were good, because you make a lot on merch on Warped Tour. And that was like, I did a Kickstarter that year. And so that was a good year.
Oh, because the label isn't taking any of it.
Right, no label, so they don't touch that money.
So let me ask this. So that's the label that you keep, that you take home, but let's just go with revenue generated, period. Would it be more like a year of like 2006 or something like that?
That's good. You mean gross?
Yeah,
income?
Overall gross.
Well, maybe 2011 was a good year, because I signed an artist, this guy Weird Science, who was he was the drummer for Coheed and Cambria. He had a rap project. So we did a Kickstarter for his project. So that was, and I did Warped Tour, and then I had like a big fall tour with MC Chris. So that was like a very good gross.
So what you're saying is the major labels don't make you shit.
Yeah, I mean, I never, they take everything away and you recoup it. I'm so glad my old records never came out through a major label, because those streams really pay my rent, which is a blessing, you know?
That's good, yeah. This is an interesting question for a lot of rappers. How do you feel about the sound of your own voice?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm not a great singer, but I think like with the right beats, I think I sound good rapping.
Isn't that a lot of guys though?
I guess, right? Yeah. I don't know. I guess I work well with my limitations.
The Graduate, like that's, and again, like this is my stupid, unresearched like worldview. You know more about you than I do, obviously. But for me, like The Graduate seemed like one of the big like heights of MC Lars. Like that album had like all of the songs that I remember. Like that was sort of, it had all of that sort of culture. I mean, what did The Graduate like mean to you? Like what was that relative to your career? Like how do you feel about it looking back?
Well, you only get one chance to be new, right? And so I knew like I had to make a great record, and I feel like I did. And, you know, it's like everyone knows Weezer's Blue Album, and then they know a few of their other songs. I would say that most people know that record because it was like, for the time, it was different and it was interesting, and the samples are great. Yeah. And I'm really fond of that record. But I think if you get to the point where you're like, oh, that's the best thing I'll ever do, that's when artists start to think about getting a day job, right? I still love making music, and
just one of the heights, not the height, just one of the heights.
Yeah, I'm proud of that record, and I still play a lot of those songs.
Let me see, one of the songs that interested me and I forgot about it until like I was re-listening to some of the stuff just last week, is Hot Topic is not punk rock. I love that song because you go on the internet and it enables you to avoid certain types of people. you just sort of get lost in your own lane of like sort of agreeable, like-minded people. But then recently I start encountering, you know, you meet new people and then they reintroduce you to people you thought you forgot about. And I had no idea how much I hated posers until I started seeing them again. It was ridiculous. Like just like the guy who like, he's like in a punk band and he like thinks he's like really anarchist and then he goes to his job at Walmart, like just, you know, all this shit. So this is what I'm wondering. It's been 13 years since that song released. Hot Topic is not punk rock. What else is not punk rock?
Wow. Facebook.
Okay.
Right? But then you could say it is because it gives the people a voice.
Yeah, because now everybody, well, here's the thing. Everybody says like Facebook is whack now, so I don't know.
Well, I think that song, it's interesting because from that era, it was me pointing my finger at a mainstream corporation trying to show that they were niche-y and underground and progressive and right and so I was so there was more of a binary of like what was underground and edgy culture and what was not. And then you have like Steam games like Five Nights at Freddy's with merchandise at Hot Topic. You could argue that game is punk rock because it was made by one person and it's like a creative game and it's, you know, it's an indie game, but of course they can like monetize it however they want. So it's interesting. I think now it's harder to delineate, you know, what's punk and what's not. What do you think?
Well, what I like about it is it does a critique on the conforming of nonconformity. Or of conforming to nonconformity, which I've always thought was bullshit. What I think is punk rock, or what I think is punk, is just general artistry, though. The concept of breaking a border, the concept of doing something that's actually never been done before, the concept of combining things that have never been done before. We were playing some songs for a cosplayer anime lover named Melinda Chan. And so all of these songs were made for her. And you know, keep in mind, anime fans, they're not listening to R&B, they're not listening to trap, they're not listening to hip hop. They're listening to, you know, they're listening to K-pop, they're listening to anime intro songs. That's all they're listening to. And so the concept of taking the culture of cosplaying and anime liking, and you mix that with the Trey songs, with the Usher, with the all that stuff, and you just have this like this smooth, silky R&B song about, you know, cosplaying and liking anime. That's punk rock to me. What do you think?
Yeah, I guess so, right? It's as nerd culture, like whenever nerd culture merges with mainstream culture, that's interesting, and that's always fun. So maybe that's a good example.
Oh, this is a hot take. I'm gonna see if this upsets you. Okay, check this out.
Okay.
Nerd culture and mainstream culture, and like so, I said trap, and you're in the mindset that that's mainstream. This is my theory, is that, and I said this a couple months ago. I think trap is the new punk rock. Because trap is the thing that fucking upsets the system beyond anything. In the sense of like I'll see kids playing their trap music like on like outside at a park, and it is nothing but old white people, or not old white people, but like white people in like their 40s, and they're walking by and they are so fucking upset. They are like way more mad than like if they were to actually play like punk. You know what I mean? Right.
I mean, I think yes. Maybe if I think personally, like 5 years ago, trap music, and now it's like the SoundCloud mumble rap, which is, I think, even more annoying to people because they feel like it's lazy. I don't know.
But it's when punk came out, that was annoying to people.
Yeah, I would say, new hip hop is definitely the new punk rock with older people. They feel alienated and annoyed by it. And, you know, it's like talking about benzodiazepines and freaking like opiates and all that stuff. Like, I guess Gigi Allen was overdosed on heroin, right? So it's like,
yeah.
That is...
No, that's the interesting thing is that people say that the new rappers are all drug addicts and all this stuff, and I'm like, well, these are just any artists, whether it's Biggie Smalls, Tupac, the Beatles, like all of these guys were on drugs, you know? And so, or I mean, I guess Beatles are these guys, 4 guys. But anyway, yeah, no. But that's interesting to me. I get a lot of dislikes when I say these things. Anyway, this is something interesting I saw when I was looking stuff up. You have an MC Lars Greatest Hits vinyl. Is that your only like personal solo vinyl pressing?
That came out on vinyl, and then Zombie Dinosaur is on vinyl, and then the Jeff Session. So I have 3.
Oh yeah, I think I saw the Zombie Dinosaur one. Is The Graduate going to be on vinyl anytime soon?
You know, I might do a Kickstarter to put it on vinyl. So I want to make sure I would do it right. Yeah.
How many copies of the MC Lars Greatest Hits do you have lying around?
I have 0. but some come up on Discogs sometimes.
Yeah, they're $100. I'll pay you. Yeah. Lars, I'll pay you out of my own pocket if you can get me the MC Lars Greatest Hits vinyl, or if you can get me a personal pressing, numbered out of 5, MC Lars The Graduate vinyl, because I will pay you handsomely.
Oh, thank you, my friend.
I'll give you like $200.
Let's see what I can find. Wow.
200.
Well, you don't have to do that, but...
No, I'll give you $200 if you can get me out of 5 numbered. I want number 4 out of 5. I'd like number 4 out of 5 signed MC Lars The Graduate. I'll give you $200 for that.
Okay, well, when I do press it, how about I'll send you the first one and I'll hook you up.
Okay, that's good. All right, that's good.
Even better.
I will give you the money. I will give you the money up front, PayPal, Venmo, whatever it is. I'll give you that money. I'm not joking. Okay.
You're sweet. Well, thank you, man.
I'm sweet. Yeah, hear that, JR? I'm sweet. Now let's get, JR, I need your help for this. Check this out. We are going to get, and this is how we're going to wrap it up here, the new rapper opinion scoring. How this is going to go, we have 10 new rappers. We are going to say one to you, you hit us with an opinion, and then me and my co-host, JR, we can each give you 1 point. So there is a possible 20 points, and we're going to go one by one here. Okay, so...
Wait, well, how do I get the point if I say the right thing about the rapper?
Well, we're gonna hear your opinion, and then we're gonna see does he get a point or does he not get a point.
Okay.
That's we're evaluating your evaluations. That's what we're doing. It's the old man test.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Okay. This is the worst show on the internet, by the way. Okay, so check it out. All right, Lil Uzi Vert.
Lil Uzi Vert's he has a great verse on Migos Bad and Bougie. And he wears Marilyn Manson shirts. And I haven't heard from him in a few years, but I think, I don't hate him. I think that verse is tight.
Okay, I'll give him a point. JR, do you give him a point?
Yeah.
Okay, so you got 2 points so far.
Thank you, JR.
There we go. So you got 2 points. Okay, next up, Childish Gambino.
Well, This Is America won the Grammy. I've always been a fan of him. He once said on a song, he said, F backpack, F nerdcore. I'm neither. So he's this nerdcore rap. So he gets points for that.
That's interesting. JR, what would you give it?
I'll give him a point for that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, see, I'm not a big fan of Childish Gambino because he's not punk enough, because he tries to be punk, but he ends up just being liked by white people a lot, and being liked by white people is not very punk. Now, okay.
Wait, so is the question is whether these rappers are punk or not, or my opinion of them?
I'm just going off. This is me. Don't worry about anything. Keep doing what you're doing. You're fine. I'm just talking out loud because I'm insane. Okay, I'll give you another point. Okay, 2. Okay, you're at 4 points so far.
Hey.
Okay, 6ix9ine.
Well, I mean, he's done some things that are maybe he wish he wouldn't. I think his energy on some of his songs is dope. I think some of his songs is like, I like that it's noisy and it pisses people off. He doesn't seem like a very good person, but he also, he snitched on the Bloods, so he's got like a bounty on his head, and so. Oh,
this felt like a ripoff where I saw a TMZ headline where they say, 6ix9ine caught on video putting a $30,000 hit on someone's head, and I watched the video, and he said he didn't put a hit on someone, he just mentioned that he had a hit on someone, and I felt so ripped off because I thought it was going to be like a movie scene where he's talking to the guy, and then he says to everybody, I have $30,000 on his head, and then all the guys run in their car and like jet off like it's Power Rangers. I thought it was going to be that. It was not that.
They got you. Clickbait.
You're right. Okay, JR, what point do you give?
I don't really like 6ix9ine.
So you don't give a point for that?
Nah.
That's okay. I don't need everyone.
I'll give him 1 point. Okay. Next up, A Boogie with the Hoodie.
What's that? I'm drowning. That. He's like a classical sample. I heard he's not good live.
Most of these guys aren't good live, to be honest with you. It's gotten.
I don't hate him.
Right.
I think that song is melodic and catchy. I know he's very big in New York.
He's huge in New York. Oh my God.
He's doing great.
Honestly, no, but this is my thing, and I don't know how much of this you see. So many of the this is the only real legitimate knock you can give on new rappers is all of these guys will just play the regular song. It's not even an instrumental, and they'll just talk over the song.
That's it. They don't. Right. I was talking to Megaran about this, in that rappers' live backing tracks have their whole vocals on them, and like when you could tell if a rapper has started post 2014, they just rap over their MP3s. But it's like an old school thing to like put time and effort into your set.
No, yeah,
Right?
it's definitely and I think they'd be good. I think they'd all be good, like live. Like I think they could do it. Like and you don't like they have live auto-tune pedals. Like it's not like it's because they don't have auto-tune. Like they have that stuff. They can do it if they want
Right.
to.
Right. Right. Hannibal Buress has that joke where he talks about how Riff Raff would rap over his entire track. And then Hannibal's like, maybe I can do that too. And he tells a joke and he plays like a sample that has the punchline and he raps and he says it along with it. He's like, hey, I'm just like a rapper.
That's pretty
good.
That sounds pretty good. I got to check that out. That sounds good.
He's great.
Okay. JR, what do you give him? What do you give him for A Boogie with the Hoodie opinion?
Yeah, I'll give him a point for that.
Okay. I do not give him a point for that because he should have known more than just Drowning because A Boogie is the best artist in New York right now. Okay, I'm sorry. Next up, and this is interesting, and this was a guy associated with 6ix9ine a lot before certain allegations released, and that is Trippie Redd.
Right. I was listening to him on SoundCloud a few months ago, and I can't name any of his songs, but I thought it was good. I guess he was smart to protect his interest by disconnecting from someone with these allegations.
Yeah, more than disconnect. He went in. Oh my God. Anyway.
Like he called him out for all that stuff.
Yeah, publicly on like Instagram or something.
Yeah, so I guess it's good to have to take a moral stand. But I don't know his music, so that's my honest appraisal of him. But Good for him.
JR, what point do you give that?
I don't give him one. You don't know the music. You don't.
That's true. Yeah, it sounds like you're just saying positive things so you get your points, Lars. This is honestly I want to say this about Trippie Redd. 6ix9ine is a great performer. Like he's great just like using his voice. Trippie Redd is an artist. Trippie Redd is like an artist. Like look at his cover for what was it? Life's a Trip. Like just this insane shit, and like he does this thing where I don't know if you've ever heard him sing. Trippie Redd's whole thing, he sings like "Best to Die," like he sort of like does that weird thing with his voice where he it's like Christina Aguilera but untrained, but it's interesting. I like how he works it into everything that he does. Anyway, you get 0 points for Trippie Redd. All right. No, but
I'll give him a shot. I'll go listen to him more. I appreciate you pointing out what you like about him.
No, Trippie Redd is an artist.
Would you agree there are just so many, like every week there's so many new rappers that it's like, it's very hard to keep up with all these MCs?
Yes and no. I get when hip hop is your main genre, no, it's not hard to keep up. But when you listen to other things, I guess, it would be hard to keep up.
Just stay on
true.
WorldStar.
Are you subscribed to WorldStar?
No, I'm not. I am not. But I do check out their YouTube channel occasionally, but I don't follow them actively.
MC Lars is positivity, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. Okay, next up, I'm pretty sure you had to have heard something from this guy. 21 Savage.
What is 21 Savage drip too hard? Or is that not him?
JR, is that? I only listened to Drip Too Hard.
Yeah, I think that's 21.
Oh my God.
I don't know him that well. I know he sings, right? Is
it's okay.
That part of his thing?
I'll give you. Is 21 Savage? No, he doesn't really sing that much.
Okay.
No, yeah, actually,
he's an artist I don't know.
I don't know. We'll just give you 1 point for that because it's a neutral thing.
That's generous.
And this guy I love. This is the least popular of all of them, but I love this guy. And if you know this guy, then I know you're hip to everything. Rico Reckless.
Okay, let's see. I don't. I wish I could lie and say I did.
Okay. Rico Reckless, he's a Chicago sort of a drill rapper. He's known for he took Tupac's Hit 'Em Up instrumental and he made a song where he dissed literally every Chicago rapper, Kanye West to Common to and obviously Famous Dex, Lil Durk, all those guys. He got so many death threats, it was ridiculous, but he just kept doing it. He's like this great performer. He doesn't give a shit. He's pretty punk.
Yeah, but check him out. You definitely get a point for that.
I get points for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay. There we go.
All right.
Damn.
Point for
MC
Max.
Lars knows how to run a show. This is good. Okay. Let's see. No, Rico, what was the other thing he did? What was funny is, like, obviously it's this diss track, but with the sort of drill rap, it's a series of creative death threats. And my favorite thing was, like, he put a threat on Chance the Rapper, who is the most, like, innocent little, like, not violent, like, sings about Christianity and loving, you know, like, and so it's just funny that he puts all this violence on Chance the Rapper. He said Chance won't have a chance. Like, it's just, anyway.
Right.
All right, we'll give you, you get 0 points for Rico Reckless.
0 points. Right. Yeah, don't give me points. I didn't know him.
Okay. All right, this guy, he just got big a few months ago from, I think it's from Memphis, NLE Choppa.
Ooh. All right, I'm feeling
that's the Stick by My Side. That's him.
Oh yeah, well no, that was the feature. He's Stick by My Side, and then Shot of Flow. You don't know him, Lars?
No.
Very hard, like new hip hop. Like again, these guys. Well, Rico Reckless has been on for 2 years. NLE Choppa is a couple months, so I don't. I'll give you one courtesy point for that one, just because he's kind of new. Okay.
I am writing these down to listen to them tonight.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll give you one bonus point at the end for that. Okay. +1. There we go. I'm incredible. Okay. 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 Next up, obvious. You had to have heard this guy, Kodak Black.
Yes.
How do you feel about Kodak?
Is Kodak? Isn't he? Is he an LA artist?
No, he's Florida.
Okay.
Big Florida dude.
I know the name. I don't know the music. Yeah.
All right, that's 0. I don't even need to ask JR. Kodak Black he's a very interesting artist. Let me ask this: are you into like following the evolution of artists? Is that something you're into?
Yeah, definitely.
Kodak Black, from 2014 to now, he has gone from like the most generic hard rapper to a guy who just will try anything and do anything, and he's still able to stay relevant in the mainstream doing that. Where like the way he dresses, like he'll dress like a Nickelodeon fruit drink, like it's incredible. Like I love it. Like he'll have like orange shirt, teal pants, and he'll just run around. He loves orange. His favorite color is orange. If it's orange, he likes it.
Yellow hair, looking like.
Oh yeah, no, he got the Lisa Simpson hair. Kodak Black is incredible, and also is.
Wait, and where's he from again?
He's from Florida. I think he's from Broward County.
And Florida's famous for its oranges, so there you go.
Oh, wow. Lars hit us with the bars. Oh, my God. Yeah, you got to check out the Dewey Decibel System with
yes, sir.
Mega Ran. We'll get to that in a little bit. So he made Dying to Live, and this guy who was called stupid, who was called mumble rap, who calls all these things, he comes out with this album that's like pretty introspective. You know, that's pretty much, you know, that's very, what's the word for it?
Innovative.
No, it's not innovative at all. It's just innovative for him. It's introspective, where it's like this guy you thought all he talked about was killing people and drugs and all this stuff, and he's talking about how he's like, he made a point that a lot of these rappers do want to change. A lot of these rappers do want to do these sort of, you know, more finance building intellectual things, but the culture they're from won't allow them to. And so, and that's sort of a thing that I've noticed through all people, not just like in hard neighborhoods, but just everywhere, whether it's like a kid who's in drugs, a kid who, you know, hangs out with losers or whatever. You try to change your life and people make fun of you for it. And so that was a very interesting thing with Kodak Black. That's why, well, anyway, 0 points. Let's see. Last one. He was big in the headlines a couple months ago. YNW Melly.
Yeah, I'm striking out on him too.
He did Murder on My Mind.
Oh, that. Yeah, and is he the guy who actually killed someone?
Yeah, allegedly.
I heard about him. Allegedly, right?
I liked here. Dude,
and he just got sentenced?
I don't know if he got sentenced. I don't know yet. But he, oh my God, YNW Melly. I liked his music. I'm one of those like hipster guys. I liked his music before it got out that he killed people. But I mean, it was sort of, he had guns in like every music video. It was sort of, I don't know. Anyway.
Well, here's the thing. I like going back to what you said about like everyone's competition for attention and authenticity and like corporate control of culture. If you're going to be like truly subversive and really like true to your brand, if you're going to be like a SoundCloud rapper and talk about killing people and everything, you really have to like be a scary actual person and kill people to like trend. And it's so interesting how we told that line between like reality and fantasy, and how we tattoo our faces because we want to like make sure we are committed to the game. And it's like, it's that quest for authenticity and views like manifests itself in those dark things, like being an actual murderer. And yes, back in the day, gangster rappers were like, they would have stories like that. But now I feel like it's a I don't know, you have to do it for people to like care about you, and that's terrifying.
I'll give you 1 point for the Melly thing. Okay, so let's score you up here. Where is my calculator at? Here it is. There we go. My digital calculator that I use with the number pad. Okay. So we got 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Okay, so 9 points, and then plus the 1 bonus point for writing down the artists and looking them up later. You have a total, you have 10 out of 20 points. How does it feel, Lars?
Okay, well, if it were a test, I would have failed, but that's okay.
No. Well, anyway, no, but what's important is that it's not that you failed right now. It's that because you look to learn and educate yourself, that you will succeed in the future, and that's all that matters, the future.
Exactly. Thank you, man. And I appreciate your sense of humor, and I appreciate you having me on and talking about my music. It means a lot to me. Thank you.
Man, Lars is positivity 24. Man, we gotta have you. Anyway, let's talk about the Dewey Decibel System real quick here.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, man, this guy's polite. Okay, let's see. Okay, Dewey Decibel System with Mega Ran. What would you say is the main sort of theme with this album? The one song that stood out to me was the Henry David Thoreau song. What was the title of that?
Walden,
that's what it was. So that was the song that that stood out to me for the hook. But what I'm wondering is, I mean, what's a standout song to you, and what's the overall theme of this project?
So I met Mega Ran 10 years ago, and we decided, we toured a lot together, and we both like literature. So we did a song about books. So every song is about a book we liked, and we call this genre lit hop. That's how we kind of promote it, like a play on hip hop, literary hip hop. So My favorite song is probably Ozymandias is a standout song. I like that song because it's about the Percy Shelley poem. We picked some deep cuts, some stuff that some people might not be into, some popular stuff like William Shakespeare. We did Julius Caesar, and yeah, we worked on the album for a few years. We did a Kickstarter for it, and super proud of it. And we have 5 videos from it, and we've been touring a lot to promote it. And Mega Ran's a very cool guy to work with, and I appreciate him being on this project, and it was really fun to do.
That's good. Okay. The theme is literature, lit hop. See, I was worried there. I thought lit hop was going to be like it's lit fam, fire cuh. I thought it was going to be that, but no, it was something okay.
Lit, right.
Because I heard a McDonald's radio ad that said for the new spicy Big Mac, and they said, it's lit, fam. And I was like, oh no, McDonald's, you are officially racist, McDonald's. I can't even eat you anymore for the rest of the week. It's
that Steve Buscemi meme where he's dressed up with skateboard. He's like, hello, fellow kids.
Yeah.
You never want to be trying to.
Yeah.
I'm 36, so when I'm doing rap, I can't be trying to use a recent slang or recent stylistic things because it's not my generation. It comes off as pandering or, like you said, racist, like appropriating a culture. But if you take a poem or a story, like a classic Shakespeare story, and rap about it, it has the Hamilton thing where it's it's historical, so it doesn't have to be. You're not ripping off the culture. You're using the genre of rap to tell a story.
I don't know. I'm a big anti-Hamilton guy. This might be an interesting conversation. I have an issue with Hamilton from the sense of how would I put it? It feels like it does that thing where it just dilutes hip hop and it does this pickup line rhyme scheme of A A B B C C D D. And it's sort of I don't like the delusion of something so it can appeal to the masses, or I guess just a simplification of something so it can appeal to the masses, in the sense of specifically with hip hop, because you don't have to dumb it down for people to appreciate it. If you took the time to sort of write more intricately, more like a standard hip hop song, I feel like people would like it more. I mean, how do you feel about that?
Well, don't you feel like the Jefferson characters' cadences are complicated and multisyllabic, and he kind of uses the evolution of hip hop, different eras of it, to represent the different eras of the American political culture. I feel like there are the simple rhymes in Hamilton, definitely, but I don't think it stays in that ground. Do you? I thought it was.
Everything I've heard, I'll go through a Hamilton, and I think. It was either Vince Staples or Jared Carmichael. It was one of those guys. I can't remember which one. It's a guy who's funny as hell on Twitter. And he said, he sort of said similar to what I said, but he said it in a funnier way. He said Hamilton the musical is times tables rap. He says it's the thing that your teacher makes up so to get you into fractions, and he says it's like it's
Right.
trying to be this culture, but it's just so like it doesn't get the core. And can hip hop be used to tell something historical? Yeah, absolutely. I've looked through Hamilton songs, and I've skimmed verses and tried to find, and every time it's like, yo, we're gonna sign the Liberty Bell. I don't like you, George Washington. Go to hell. Like it always sounds like that for like every track to me.
I think, yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. And I think when I first heard the idea, I kind of was closed-minded about it, but I definitely gave it more attention. I was fortunate enough to get tickets to go see it, and like live, it's incredible. And I think the story's amazing.
In New York?
I guess my point, yeah.
Okay.
And I guess my point is that like, if you talk about something timeless, your music doesn't fade away with like the current trends, right? And so maybe Hamilton is, I guess, an example, like it's intersected with the pop culture zeitgeist of hip hop. And I agree, there's probably going to be another hip hop musical with like even more complicated, amazing cadences. But I don't think that it's pandery. But I also, my opinion was changed very much by like seeing it live. And yeah, I think it's dope. And I think that it's like, if you ever get to see it, like you might change your opinion, because it's not all simple rhymes. It gets kind of gnarly with some of the cadences.
Is there like a video of it somewhere?
I think there's a lot of stuff on YouTube of it.
Huh.
But I don't know. I mean, obviously I don't need to advocate for the musical because it's done okay. But I appreciate it, and it's been an inspiring for me, past few years.
MC Lars, the man of positivity. Let's see here. Make sure you check out the Dewey Decibel System on, what is it, Spotify, Apple Music, all those places?
Yes, sir. It's everywhere.
Okay. And make sure I'm going to need The Graduate on vinyl. Don't do the double disc thing. Just put all the songs on one disc. I'm tired of the double vinyl stuff. I don't care about 180 gram. I don't care. It could sound terrible. I don't care. Anyway. So yeah, $200 in your PayPal. We're going to make it happen. Okay. Lars.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you for your time. Link me your PayPal, and I will give you the $200 up front. All right. We'll see you later.
Okay. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.